Okay, guys, I got a quick news video for you because Star Trek Online has teased that they're going to be revamping a couple of ships. Yesterday, Star Trek Online had a live stream over on the Deca Games Twitch channel, and the goal of this live stream, it wasn't meant to be like some big announcement. While it did tease a couple of things, the big thing here was just meant to be a community engagement kind of thing. Counselor Suna and Pundis came on to talk about just what goes into the idea of making a starship, in terms of the art assets in the game. So Pundis kind of goes over just kind of what goes into making and designing a ship, and just a lot of the technical information that goes into that sort of thing. So if you're interested into that, I definitely would recommend checking out that the VOD for that live stream. I'll link that down below in the pinned comment. There's some interesting stuff in there too, and so it really gives you a chance to see just how not easy it is to do stuff like making or even revamping a ship, because some of the behind the scenes stuff, it's a bit more complicated than you might think. But while they were live, they took the opportunity to tease a few things that are going to be coming up. Like I said, there's going to be 2 new ship remasters coming. The first one is going to be this one. This is what is going to be the revamp of the Yushan class. The Yushan is a variant of the Saber class, so that means they're going to be adding one more revamped into the Saber family of ships. As you can see here, it's going to be a TMP era ship, which really falls in line with a lot of the other content we've been getting lately in Star Trek Online, and I'm pretty hyped for this. This looks absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, you can see a lot more detail in the VOD of the live stream, which will be linked down below. But yeah, I'm pretty hyped to see this flying around in game. It looks really nice. Really does a nice job of blending the basic shape of the Yushan, which was always kind of weird looking. It had these weird spiky things coming out the front, and very rectangular shaped nacelles, which Pundis mentioned this, how they just scream TMP era, and yeah, I very much agree with that. So yeah, TMP era Yushan. Here's the ship from another angle. This is the bottom section of the ship, and the star drive section here was actually taken and remolded a little bit from the Kerala. So this is actually meant to be, or this was actually originally the Kerala's secondary hull. The main deflector with the lower section of the hull. So that was taken off the Kerala and adapted here to the Yushan for this revamp here. And here's a shot of the back section too. Big honking impulse engines, a little reminiscent of the Okinawa, because if you look at the Okinawa, like the impulse drive is like half of the secondary hull, so it's kind of huge. So it also gives you a sense of the idea of how big this thing is going to be, or rather not big is going to be, because Saber is a pretty small ship, and this is going to be going on the Saber skeleton. But also took the opportunity to give some other comparisons for the sense of scale on this thing. Here it is next to the Kerala, and you can see it's quite a bit shorter than the Kerala. It's still kind of wide because the nacelles stick out the sides quite a bit off of these fin type protrusions. I don't know what these are, but yeah, you can see it's quite a bit smaller than the Kerala. Here's another shot of it next to the recently released Okinawa. So you can see it's much more similar in size to the Okinawa, which makes sense because it's a small escort type ship. So the Okinawa, it's a bit longer, but the Yushan is quite a bit wider. And just for the fun of it, Counselor Suna also got Pundis to bring out the Breen Dreadnought for size comparison, just for the sake of some laughs. As you can see, the Breen Dreadnought absolutely dwarfs the tiny little Yushan class here. So yeah, it is a very small ship. Now, as of yet, there's no date as to when this is going to be going live. Pundis even confirmed on the live stream that the model isn't completely finished yet. There are a few small things that need to be finished on the ship before it goes live. So the pictures you've seen here, they're not completely reminiscent of the final product, but it'll be basically the same ship, but there's going to be some other small things added to it before the release date, which, like I said, we don't know when that's going to be yet, but it'll be sometime in the future. But yeah, this is the teaser that we're going to be getting. And the fact that it's this far along now, it means it'll probably be sometime soon-ish, probably within like the next couple months, I would guess. Now, that's just one remaster. Like I said, there were 2 remasters that were announced with this, and while the bulk of the live stream did focus on the reveal of the Yushan remaster, Pundis and Suna did take the opportunity to reveal one more thing near the end of the stream. That's this. If you're unfamiliar with this ship, this is another variant of the Saber class. This is the Gladius class, and this is meant to be one of those older Stowe era class ships that still use the Type 6 hull. And as we can see here, this is going to be getting a remaster as well, likely to be made compatible with the current Odyssey hull material, like we've seen done for the Exeter and the Avenger class. So that means not only are they doing the Yushan class remaster, they're also going to be later on finishing out the Saber class remasters completely with the Gladius as well. Again, we have no date as to when these are going to be going live. We don't even know if these will be going live at the same time or if they'll do one and then the other whenever they're ready. But yeah, those are going to be coming sometime in the near future. Now, just like all past ship remasters, once the remaster goes live, it will be freely applied to every existing version of the Saber class. So if you already own, say, the Da Vinci or its fleet version or any of the lower tier versions of the Saber class, that remaster will be applied completely free of charge. And yeah, it'll be there for you to use and kit bash as you like. Actually, in the live stream, Puntus does go over some randomized options, so you can kind of see how those parts blend in with some of the other existing parts of the Saber class. So again, if you want to go see that, check out the VOD from the live stream down below in the pinned comment. Now let's get the opportunity to see some of these older ships as they are currently in Star Trek Online. Like here's the Yushan class, and holy crap, like you can really see the difference here, but you can also kind of see where they got some of the inspiration to make this a TMP era ship, mainly the shape of the warp nacelles here, the rectangular shape of these things. Just it screams TMP era, so it makes sense that they would want to adapt this thing into a TMP era ship, especially with all the other TMP era stuff that they're doing in the game lately, with in terms of the last two ship bundles. Yeah, that is the Yushan as it currently is now. I am not gonna miss this thing. That revamp looks way better than this thing, so I am going to be pretty happy when that revamped Yushan class goes live. And of course, then there was also the Gladius, which was also teased. This is the current version of the Gladius. Gladius has always been kind of a weird looking ship to me. Like even in comparison to the other Saber class variants, this is just a really quite a wild take on the Saber class skeleton. So I'll be interested to see what the rest of the revamp does. We kind of only got to see it from like this angle. I'm really curious to see what they do with like the secondary hull here. Because the secondary hull just kind of sticks out kind of oddly on this ship, in my opinion. You can already see in the revamp, the nacelles look quite different on the revamp for the Gladius. They actually looked a lot more reminiscent of the nacelles used on the Reliant class, which is the tier 6 version of the Miranda. So that's going to be interesting to see how the rest of that evolves. Like, are they going to be taking more inspirations from the Reliant class for the Yushan, or are they going to be going in its own direction for this thing? We can only wait and see. Now, once those two remasters go live, that means they will have completely revamped all the variants of the Saber class. Because I mean, Da Vinci, that's like the latest, that's the T6 version of the ship, so it's pretty up to Stowe's current visual standards. The Rapier, this got revamped sometime last year, I believe. This was meant to be a TMP era version, not TMP, a Lost era version of the Saber class, which still looks pretty cool. I really like this. Yeah, this is a cool look ship. But yeah, this was meant to be a Lost era version, and then they revamped the Saber when the Da Vinci went live, and then we're also getting the Yushan revamp coming up in the near future. So that'll round out all of the Saber skins to be looking as up to date as possible. So that'll be really nice to see. That also means they're nearly done with all of the possible skin variants that can be used on all of the ships from the tier 2 line for Star Trek Online. Because they've done all the ships for the Constitution refit line. Then they'll have the Sabers refitted. That's the tier 2 escort. For some reason I was thinking they still had one more of the Nova line to do, but no, they finished those. They did Aurora and the Quasar a while back. So yeah, those were revamped in those, and the Nova class never got a Type 6 hull variant, because instead it got the Rhode Island class instead as the premium tier 2 version of that ship. So yeah, then that means once the two Saber remasters come out, then they'll be done with the tier 2 line. I guess that means they can move on to the tier 3 ships, because of the revamped versions of the Awani, which was the Cheyenne and the those ships. The only skin on this skeleton that has left to be revamped is the Dakota class, which I'm curious what they'll do with this one, because like these nacelles here also really scream TMP era, but like we've already got a TMP era version of the Constellation. It's the Constellation. So I'm kind of curious what they'll do for this ship right here. Maybe like a Picard era skin, because those are also very rectangular in shape. Or hopefully we'll start seeing variants of the Akira class start getting remasters too, because a lot of these need work. Like there's some of the old originals from when the game launched, like the Oslo and the Zephyr, which, I mean, fun fact, these were basically meant to be like the compromise for the fact that the Norway and the Steam Runner weren't released at the game's launch. So like, you know, they just kind of stuffed a bunch of the first contact ships into one skeleton, that being the Akira. So I'm guessing we'll get something vaguely Norway-esque looking for this thing, and something vaguely Steam Runner looking-esque for the Zephyr. But then there's also like the Thunderchild and the Armitage, which I think like, the Akira might be the only ship that has two different variants, both of which use the Type 6 hull variant. So that'll be interesting to see what they do with both of these. I would love to see them remaster the Armitage. I've always of like the Stowe era Akira variants. This one has always been like my big favorite, mostly just because I like that the nacelle pylons actually go down. It always bugged me that how like on the Thunderchild and the Alita, the nacelles stick up like that. It really messes with the balance of the look, in my opinion. But then, now I'm just ranting about that. But yeah, they still need to do those two. They still need, I mean, Alita still doesn't have access to the Type 7A hull, which I always thought was weird because this ship actually is canon now. This ship actually made it into Star Trek Picard, but it never got a revamp, which I always thought was weird. And then Matsumoto, this one's fine. This was the most recent release of the Akira class. But yeah, there's a lot to do on this ship before they can finish out all the tier 3 ships for the revamps, but hopefully they can at least tackle a few of these. Personally, I really can't wait till they start revamping some of the tier 4 and 5 ships, because Venture class, I mean, I really like this thing, but man, it really needs a revamp. I would love to see what this thing could look like in in a modern state of the game. So yeah, Venture is really high on my wish list of seeing it get a revamp. Also, the other Galaxy revamps, like the Envoy and the Celestial, like those aren't even on the skeletons for the tier 6 versions of the Galaxy, because they're so old that they were never set up for the separation mechanic. And yeah, I would love to see just what the heck they're gonna do with those two ships. So yeah, hopefully that happens someday. Same with the Sovereign variants too. Some of these I would just love to see what the heck could they possibly do with some of these, like the Noble, the Majestic, the Imperial especially. That's probably like at the top of my my fingers crossed list for seeing ships get a revamp, because this thing, it's so weird looking and it's so like different compared to everything else on the Sovereign skeleton. So I'd love to see what they could do with this in the modern state of the game, because I bet it would look wild. But now I'm just getting ahead of myself. Obviously, those won't be happening for a very long time, if they ever do happen at all. But, you know, I can hope. Yeah, for now, yeah, Yushan and Gladius skins, these are both getting revamped sometime in the near future, so be hyped for that. Let me know what you guys think down below of these revamps. Are you into them? You're not that into them? Let me know in the comments. And also let me know what other ships do you really hope get revamped sometime in the future. So yeah, leave that in the comments down below. While you're down there, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. If you'd like to further support the channel and become a member to gain additional channel perks, check out the affiliate links in the pinned comment. Check out the merch store down below. If you're ever shopping on the Epic Game Store, be sure to use my content creator code STU1701. Any of these really help me out, and I really do appreciate it. Either way, though, thank you so much for watching. My name's Stu, and I'll see you guys next time.